In this lecture, we are going to study the section 5.4, Introduction to Polynomials, and the section 5.5, Multiplication of Polynomials. First, let's define a polynomial. Polynomial is an expression with two or more terms. The terms can be add or subtract, as in this case we add, can be add and subtract. The terms also may contain different power of the same variable. In this case, we have just x, and the power in this case is the second power. This is the power, the first power. Or may contain different variables, for example, x and y, with different power of 10. Yes. Then x, we have the same variable with the same power, but here we had a y variable with the second and the third power. But one important thing is the power of the variable must be always positive and a whole number. Then must be a positive number, must be a whole number. For example, this is not a polynomial, and the reason is the exponent of the variable is a fraction. Then this is why it's not a polynomial. In this case, this is not a polynomial because the exponent of y is negative. In this case, we had the division. Yes, we had one polynomial on top, one polynomial in the denominator, and we had more than one polynomial. Also, the polynomials can contain a constant term, which is a term without any variable. Yes, it's just a number. And let's first learn how to evaluate polynomials. And if we have these polynomials and we want to evaluate when x equals to -4, then what we had to do, we need to replace x by this value, by -4. Then what I suggest you is to just replace the x by parentheses and write the number inside. Let me write this 4 better. This is -4. It's difficult to write here. -4 plus 4, -4 plus 6. Now we need to remember the -4 to the second power is -4 times -4. Then negative times negative is positive. 4 times 4 is 16. The -4 to the second power is 16. And that's why here is 2 times 16. Positive times negative is negative. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 6. 2 times 16 is 32 minus 16 plus 6. Now just we need to operate this one. 32 minus 16 is 16 plus 6, and it's 22. This is the answer. And let's evaluate the next polynomial, and we want to evaluate at x equal to -5. And we will do exactly the same. It's just we had x, then x, we need to replace the x by -5 to the third power minus 2. X is -5, is to the second power plus 3, but x is -5 minus 1. Now we need to solve the expression with exponent, what we had inside the parentheses. And again, let's write here, we need to solve -5 to the third power. means it's negative 5 times negative 5, negative 5. Negative times negative is positive, positive times negative is negative. 5 times 5 is 25, 25 times 5 is 125. And here we have is 3 times negative 125. Negative 5 to the second power. Negative 5 to the second power is negative 5 times negative 5. Negative times negative is positive. 5 times 5 is 25. Then it's negative 2 times 25, positive 25. We can multiply this number. Positive times negative is negative, negative 15 minus 1. And now we need to solve these multiplications. 3 times negative 125 is negative 375. Negative 2 times 25 is negative 50 minus 1. If we add this number together, then all the numbers are negative. Then what we had to do is we need to add the numbers together and keep the sign. Then we add this number together. The answer is negative 441. Negative 441. In this case, we want to evaluate this polynomial at x equal 3. Then just replace the x by 3. Negative, to write here the negative value, 3 x to the second plus 2 times 3 plus 6. Then we need to write this negative. 3 to the second power is 9. Just be careful, 3 is not inside the parentheses. Yes. Then we need to rise to the second power just the 3. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 6. Then we have negative 9 plus 12 equals to 3. Now we want to understand, we want to learn how we can add polynomials. Then the procedure to add polynomials is the following. First, we need to combine like terms. Then we want to write the polynomial with the exponent on the variable count down. Yes. Then we want to add these two polynomials. And if we want to add these two polynomials, because this term here, this term is positive, this sign is positive, then we will have the same inside the parentheses, because positive times positive is positive, then will be 3 x to the third. Positive times negative is negative. Positive times negative is negative. And when we distribute the positive, if we distribute the positive, we will get the same polynomial. Then the next thing we want to do is to combine like terms. And we had 4x to the third, 3x to the third. These two are like terms, then we can combine them. 4 plus 3 is 7, then we had 7x to the third. Then we want to write with the variable count down. Then the next term should be negative 9x to the second. We don't have any other term with the same variable. We don't have any other like term for negative 9x to the second. Now negative 2x, yes, and finally the numbers. We want to combine the numbers. Then negative positive 8 minus 11 is negative 3. Then this is the final answer. Now let's combine the second. Let's add these two polynomials. We want to add these two polynomials, then we will do exactly the same. And we really don't need this parenthesis. X to the third. And now we combine like terms. And if there is no number in front of the variable, we know the coefficient is 1. Yes. And we had 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 x to the third. X to the second. And we had 7 here, and we had 5 here. Then 7 plus 5 is 12. X to the second power. The next terms we want to combine just the numbers, and negative 3 plus 5 is positive 5. And this is the answer. Yes. When we subtract polynomials, we had to be careful with the negative sign we had in between, the subtraction sign. Then the procedure to subtract polynomials is first we need to distribute the negative sign through the second parenthesis. We need to distribute this negative sign through the second parenthesis. And then just we will combine the like terms and we will write the answer, the final polynomial, with the exponent on the variable count down. This is what we want to do. And let's first we distribute the negative sign. Yes. Now that part you have to be careful when we subtract. And what's right here is we had here is 5x to the second, and it's the same polynomial, but here we need to multiply the negative. Negative times positive is negative 3x to the second. Negative times positive is negative 6x. Negative times negative is negative times negative is positive 4. And you can see when we distribute the negative, the signs of these terms will change. Yes, this is positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, positive. Negative. This is 6. The next thing we want to do is we want to combine like terms. And we start with 5x to the second minus 3x to the second, 2x to the second. Now we combine the terms with x, negative 2x, negative 6x. Both coefficients, both numbers are negative. We add the numbers together and we keep the sign. Then we will have negative 8x. Finally, we combine the numbers, will be plus 11. Then we have 2x to the second minus 8x plus 11. For the next one, and we want to add these 3 polynomials. Then we don't have any sign here in front, it's the same thing. Here is positive, and we had basically the same, because positive times positive is positive, positive times negative is negative. Now here we had negative sign. We had to be careful because the signs inside the parentheses change. The negative times positive is negative 5x to the second. Negative times positive is negative 1. Now we combine like terms. Negative 3x to the second and negative 5x to the second. We combine the numbers and we keep the sign. Negative ax to the second. Now the terms with x. Then negative 5x minus 7x. The numbers are negative. We combine the numbers, we add the numbers, and we keep the sign. And finally, just the constants. 10 minus 1 is positive 9. And this is the answer. Now, this is the section 5.5, and you will learn how to multiply polynomials. And we will start with monomial. Monomial is just one term times monomial. Then it's just one term times one term. In this case, what we had to apply the properties of the exponent. Remember, if we had the same base, what we had to do is just we need to add the exponents. Yes, this is we had to do. If we had numbers, just we multiply the numbers. And in this case, 4 times 2 will be 8. X, we had x here, we had x here. And x is the base. X. And then we add the exponents. 3 plus 2 is 5, then x to the 5th power. Now we had y here. 4 plus 6 is 10. We had z here. If there is no explicit exponent, we know it's 1. Then we had 1 here plus 3 is 4. Then the answer is x, 8, x to the 5th power, y to the 10th, z to the 4th power. Now we want to multiply monomial is 1/3 times a polynomial. Polynomial is more than one term. Yes. Then what we had to do is we need to distribute 4x to the 3rd through the parentheses. Then we need to multiply this number. Then 4 times 5 is 20. 20. X. Because we are multiplying, we add the exponents. 3 plus 2 is 5. 4 positive times negative is negative. 4 times 2 is 8. X. 3 plus 1, 4. Positive times positive is positive. 4 times 5 is 20. 20x to the 3rd. Then this is the answer if we multiply this monomial times a polynomial. Let's multiply these two polynomials. In this case, just we had two variables, but the procedure is the same. Yes, the procedure is the same. The same procedure we apply for this example. Then we need to distribute, multiply with this number, distribute the 3x to the 2nd, y to the 3rd through the parentheses. Then first multiply the numbers. 3 times 2 is 6. X, we had x here, same base, we add the exponents. 2 plus 2 is 4. Because there is no y, then we'll just y to the 3rd. Positive times positive is positive. 3 times 5 is 15. We had x here, x is the base. 2 plus 1 is 3. Y, and y here. Base is y. 3 plus 1 is 4. Now we multiply the last term. We distribute to the last term. 3 times 2 is 6. X, we don't have x here, just like x to the 2nd. Y. We add the exponents. 3 plus 2 is 5. And because we don't have like terms here, just this is the answer. Yes, we cannot simplify more this expression. And now let's move to the next. Now we want to multiply polynomials times polynomials. We want to multiply polynomial if we had two terms polynomials. 2 terms and 2 terms polynomials. Then what we had to do is we need to distribute the same we did before. We need to distribute this number through the second parenthesis here to the second parenthesis. And the same thing we can do with the second number. We distribute the second number through the second parenthesis. Then there is some people use this word to remember how you need to multiply the polynomials, and it's called the FOIL method. Is you need to multiply the first terms. Yes, this is the first terms. You need to multiply the outside terms, the inside terms, and the last terms. This is the FOIL. Yes? And this is another way you can remember how you need to multiply the numbers, the polynomials. And let's start with the first. Then 5x times 4x will be 5 times 4 is 20. X times x is x to the second. As we add the exponents, 1 plus 1 is 2. Now we multiply 5x times negative 1. It will be negative 5x. Now the inside terms, negative times positive is negative. 6 times 4 is 24x. And the last one, negative times the last terms, negative times negative is positive. 6 times 1 is 6. You see, you will get 4 terms. Yes, you will get 4. You should get 4 terms. The next thing is, if it's possible, you will combine the like terms. We want to simplify as much as we can the expression. Then we can. These two are like terms, we can combine them. Then 20x to the second. Both are negative, we add the numbers together. 24 plus 5 is 29, but the answer is negative. We keep the sign. Plus 6. And this is the answer in this case. Here we have 2 variables. Yes, we had one polynomial, we had another polynomial, but just we had 2 variables. But the procedure is the same. If you had more variables, the procedure to multiply these 2 polynomials is the same. And we will distribute this 4. Yes. The first, the out terms, the inside terms, the last terms. Just you can think you had to distribute this 4 through this parenthesis, then yes, and you had to distribute the 7 through the second parenthesis. It's the same idea. And now we multiply the terms. And 4x times 3x will be 12x to the second. 4, first the sign, positive times negative is negative. 4 times 2 is 8. Because these are different variables, just we write the variables x, y. Positive times positive is positive. 7 times 3 is 21. Again, because we have different variables, just we write the variables x, y. Then positive times negative is negative. 7 times 2 is 14. Y times y is y to the second. Now, if it's possible, we need to combine. We will combine the like terms. We had xy, we have like terms. Then just we can combine these 2 terms. And we have 12x to the second. If we combine these 2 terms, then we will have positive 13xy minus 14y to the second. And this is the answer. Now let's apply the same idea of these three problems. Then we can multiply by FOIL, yes, by FOIL method. And even if you had, you see, if all the signs are negative, you can apply the same method, just you have to be careful when you multiply to take into account the signs. Yes? And we will do the same thing we did before. Yes? We distribute the 4 to the first parenthesis. We distribute the -1 to the second parenthesis. Or if you want, you can just say by FOIL method. Then now we multiply the first terms. -4 times -3 is positive 12. Yes, negative times negative is positive, and it's positive 12, 12x to the second. The out terms, negative times negative is positive. Positive 4 times 9 is 36x plus 36x. Now we multiply the inside terms. Negative times negative is positive. Positive 1 times 3 is 3x. Now the last term is negative times negative is positive. 1 times 9 is 9. Now we combine the terms if it's possible. If we combine these two terms, will we have the final answer will be 12x to the second plus 36 plus 3 is 39x plus 9. And this is the answer. The next we want to solve is this problem. In this case, yes, we had one number here. Then what we can do is we can solve this. We can multiply the polynomials. At the end, we will multiply the answer by 3. And we do that. Then we multiply these two terms and these two. And don't forget to write the 3 here. And we need parentheses, because everything we will multiply here we need to multiply at the end by 3. And 2 times x is 2x to the second. 2 times 5, yes, will be 10x. Negative times positive is negative. 4 times x is 4x. And the last one, negative times positive is negative. 4 times 5 is 20. Let's combine the like terms. 2x to the second. 10 minus 4 is 6, positive 6x minus 20. Now we need to distribute the 3 to the parentheses. We need to multiply all we had inside the parentheses by 3. And 3 times 2 is 6. X to the second plus 3 times 6 is 18x. 3 times 20 is negative and is negative 60. Yes, this is the answer. The last we want to multiply, we want to solve. We had 3x plus 5 to the second power. Then we can apply the concept of the exponent. In this case, this is the base, means we need to multiply the base twice. Yes, in the same way, let me write here. In the same case, if we had 5 to the second is 5 times 5. We had 3x to the second is 3x times 3x. Then if we had 3x plus 5 to the second, then we need to multiply. We need to expand this one like 3x plus 5 times 3x plus 5. Then now we know how to solve this one. Yes, this is the multiplication of the polynomials. Then we can apply the FOIL method to solve the problem. Yes. And if you had any polynomial to the second power, just when you need to expand we need to write in the expand form and then just multiply the polynomials. Then we distribute this 3 to the second parenthesis, here to the first parenthesis. Then there's this one. 3 times 3 is 9, x times x, x to the second. 3x times 5 will be 15x. 5 times 3x is plus 15x. 5 times 5 is 25. Combine the like terms will be 9x to the second. 15 times 15x will be 30x plus 25. And here is this is the answer. The next thing we want is to multiply by distributing. If we had this is called binomial. If we had two terms, it's binomial times a trinomial. Yes. Then we will apply the same concept. Yes. Then what we had to do is we need to distribute this to the first parenthesis. And we need to distribute the second term through the second parenthesis. And the same we did before, but just we need to distribute to the 3 terms in the second parenthesis. And let's multiply. 2x times 4x to the second will be 2 times 4 is 8. X 1 plus 2 is 3. We're done with this. Then 2x times negative 7x will be negative 14x to the second. We're done with this one. Now 2x times positive 3 will be positive 6x. We're done with this one. Now let's multiply the second term. Negative 5 times 4x to the second will be negative 20x to the second. We're done with this one. Negative 5 times negative 7x will be positive 35x. Done with this one. Negative 5 times 3, the positive 3 will be negative 15. The next thing we want to do is we want to combine like terms. Then we had x to the third, x to the second. Then it's negative 14 plus negative 20 will be negative 34 x to the second. X, just x, and we combine this, so it will be 6 plus 35 is positive 41x. And the last term is just the constant, the constant number. Then the answer in this case is x to the third minus 34x to the second plus 41x minus 15. In these examples, we want to multiply trinomial times a trinomial. Yes, we have 3 terms here, we have 3 terms here. Then what we had to do is we need to multiply, and the procedure we will apply is the same procedure we apply in the previous cases. And we will distribute the 6x to the second to the second parenthesis. And what we want to do is we want to multiply basically we want to do. Yes. Then we want to multiply, and we want to multiply the second, we want to distribute the second term to the second parenthesis. And we want to distribute, yes, I will do these lines later. We want to distribute the 4 through the second parenthesis also. And let's multiply, well, let's distribute 6x to the second through this parenthesis. And 6 times 5 is 30. X to the second times x to the second is x to the 4. We need to add the exponents together. And we're done with this. Yes, we're done with this. 6x to the second times 2x will be 12. 6 times 2 is 12. X to the third times x to the second times x will be x to the third. 6 times 3 will be 18 x to the second. We're done with this one, we're done with this one. Now let's multiply the second term. Yes, now we need to multiply 4x, we need to distribute 4x through the second parenthesis. Then 4 times 5 is 20, positive 20. X times x to the second is x to the third. 4x times 2x is ax to the second, and 4x times 3 is 12x. And we're done with this 3. Now let's try, I want to do this part to write the last. And now we need to distribute 4 through the second parenthesis. Then 4 times 5 is 20 x to the second. It's positive. 4 times 2x is ax. We're done with this, we're done with this. Last one. 4 times 3 is 12. And now we had 9 terms. We should have 9 terms. And now the next thing we had to do is we need to combine the like terms. There is only one term for x to the 4, then 30 x to the 4, x to the third. We had one here, and we need to add this together. Will be 32 x to the third. That's 20 plus 12 is 32. 32 x to the third power. The next we want to combine is all the terms which had x to the second power. Then 18 plus a is 26. 26 plus 20 will be 46 x to the second. 46 x to the second. Now x, just with x, 12x plus ax is 20x. And this is just, we had just one term with constant value. Now all the terms are unlike. We can now simplify more this expression, and this is the polynomial that results when we multiply these two trinomials. Yes, is 30x to the 4, 32x to the third, plus 46x to the second, plus 20x plus 12. And this is all I had for today. Bye bye.